Who told you that we were coming? Who?
You don't answer, you're gonna be the same temperature as my coffee right now. Which, thanks to you, is ice cold.
Fine.
It seems like the critics are at it again. Yup, welcome to another installment of Audience Scores versus Critic Scores. This time on Rotten Tomatoes, it's Argylle. The movie starring Henry Cavill and Bryce Dallas Howard is getting completely annihilated by critics. But are the so-called journalists in the mainstream media right? Is Argylle really that bad? And is there anything salvageable here? Join me, dear viewer, as I dive deep into the twisty world of Argylle. Whether comedic or dramatic, spy movies always have the potential to be very entertaining. There's usually a mystery element to engage audiences and captivating personalities to hold their attention. Whether comedic or dramatic, spy movies always have the potential to be very entertaining. There's usually a mystery element to engage audiences and captivating personalities to hold their attention. The hero is often put in impossible life and death situations, forced to find ingenious solutions to survive. Meanwhile, the villain has certain stereotypical traits and a tendency to be overconfident that they'll successfully execute their scheme. There's also a fair amount of action spread throughout the narrative as the opposing sides repeatedly confront each other. Argylle has all these things and more as a novelist becomes unexpectedly entangled in an espionage adventure. The movie is about Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who is the popular author of a series of spy books featuring the title character Argylle, played by Henry Cavill. She's in the midst of completing her next novel, but has yet to figure out its ending. In order to figure out the ending of the book, she travels to her mother's house to figure it out. But before she can get there, she's intercepted by real-life spy Aidan Wilde, played by the tragically underrated Sam Rockwell. Oh, and did I mention a group of evil henchmen are after her? After Aidan rescues Ellie and her cat Alfie, he explains that her novels have uncannily mirrored actual events, making her a priority target for a cloak and dagger agency very similar to the one featured in her books, and the only way to stop them is to finish her story. Since 2014, Matthew Vaughn has been at the helm of the Kingsman franchise, delivering a fresh dose of gentlemanly spy adventures every few years. While this latest installment may seem disconnected from the series at first, a clever link emerges by the film's conclusion. Fear not, as it wholeheartedly embraces the trademark enjoyment audiences have grown to love in these films. Think exhilarating fighting sequences, comically engaging character interactions, and a plethora of plot twists. The outcome? A high-octane, enjoyable cinematic experience that defies its 139-minute runtime, ensuring there's never a dull moment. Even if some twists may be anticipated by keen-eyed viewers, they seamlessly fit into the narrative, adding to the overall thrill of the ride. It actually didn't feel like it was 2 hours long. Could it have been tightened up a bit? Sure, but there was nothing really to detract from the fun. So why are critics shitting on this movie? Well, like any other movie, it has its flaws. There's the weird addition of Ellie's cat Alfie, which becomes a gag that's gone too far and you'll be saying alright already by the end of the movie. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention Bryce Dallas Howard. Here's a fairly talented actress that's been mostly on the sidelines, getting cast in kind of mediocre roles outside of her brilliant performance in The Help. She's proven she's got action chops, she's got dramatic talent, and she's got pretty decent comedic ability. So what's my beef with her in Argylle? Well, for starters, she's not really believable for the role the movie eventually thrusts her into. Believable as a successful novelist? Absolutely. But an ass-kicking super spy? And I don't know. Ellie starts the film well enough, being the brilliant writer behind a popular book franchise, and in this aspect, she's totally believable. No issues thus far. But then the film takes a hard right turn off a cliff, right into woke territory, turning her into a complete Mary Sue. You see, she's always been awesome. She's just been blocked by the evil patriarchy in the villain of the movie, Ritter, played by the legendary Bryan Cranston. This is where the movie's wheels came right off. You can't tell me that this fat chick can hang with trained assassins and covert operatives. It's entirely unbelievable, and it's a problem a lot of films have in modern Hollywood. It's like writers forgot about brilliant female leads like Sarah Connor from Terminator, Ripley from Alien, and Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, who outsmarted their enemies. All three of those women defeated their enemies not through sheer might, but through careful deliberation and strategizing. You can't tell me that after years of being a sedentary novel writer, you're able to pull off insane maneuvers and wild action scenes. Come on! If you wanted to fix Argylle, you'd have to go with a more toned and athletic actress. I found the juxtaposition of Bryce Dallas Howard and her stunt double to be quite jarring to watch. There's some scenes where the clearly more athletic stunt double pulls off, only to see Bryce's big booty afterwards. This is an issue with a lot of casting decisions. Casting directors get great actresses that can act, but are wildly not athletic. Case in point, in the Ahsoka series, Rosario Dawson played the character great, no doubt about it. But that's a role that requires at least basic athleticism. That's something that's kind of difficult to pull off when you're in your mid-40s as a woman like Bryce Dallas Howard and Rosario Dawson. I think the film could have done better casting someone younger, say in their late 20s or early 30s. I don't want to shit too much on Bryce Dallas Howard, because outside of the action sequences, I did find her performance to be fun, cute, and quirky. I sympathized with her character and wanted to see her succeed. So in that regard, Howard did a pretty good job with what she was given. I'd actually like to see her in more comedies because I think her timing and delivery was spot on throughout the movie. The rest of the cast was pretty star-studded and absolutely stacked. You had the perennially underrated Sam Rockwell playing her partner Aiden. Rockwell absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. His performance left me guessing as to what his true motivations were all the way until the end of the movie. In fact, I didn't really see the big twist coming, largely because Rockwell did his level best to keep the secret until it needed to be divulged by Samuel L. Jackson's character, Alfred Solomon. Likewise, Bryan Cranston and Catherine O'Hara's performances were so good, I also didn't see their twists coming either. The biggest thing to note was the film's mid-credit scene. This practically cements the film in the Kingsman universe, another of Matthew Vaughn's great franchises. It looks like he's trying to create his own little universe, and I say all the more power to him. The Kingsman franchise is a fun set of movies that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what myself and audiences like about it. Argylle has its flaws, no doubt about it, but overall it's a really fun movie. It's a 2-hour escape from reality that was actually much needed after I saw Zone of Interest immediately preceding it. Yep, Barbie and Oppenheimer aren't the only movies that can go together. Zone of Argylle can too. A merely passable performance from Bryce Dallas Howard can be forgiven by the performances of the rest of the cast. The writing, character, and plot development was also pithy and tight. While I wasn't a fan of Ellie's sudden turn into Mary Sue territory, it didn't seem to detract from the quirky and fun action this film set out to achieve. But what do you guys think of all this? Did you think Argylle was a fun romp and escape from reality? Or did you fall into the critic camp? Please do let me know down below in the comments, and as always, hit that like button, ring that notification bell, and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.